network. And this afternoon, we need to take a look on what is happening in the nation of Zimbabwe. So, according to the government or the presidential spokesperson, Elon Musk has agreed to switch off Starlink in Zimbabwe within 24 hours until licensing compliance. This is what they are saying. They're saying that there was an engagement in between Starlink and POTRAZ, and they've agreed to switch off all terminals operating from Zimbabwe with immediate effect. So we need to take a look onto what they had to say so that we get to understand and also hear from other people who are involved in the use of Starlink to ascertain the importance of this message. So he says Musk agrees to switch off Starlink in Zimbabwe within 24 hours until licensing compliance. In a show of real state power against a borderless multinational, Musk has agreed to discontinue services on Zimbabwe territory pending compliance with our national laws. So this is what is happening, and we do not know which law has compelled Elon Musk and Starlink to actually comply with this directive from the government of Zimbabwe through POTRAZ. But this is what the presidential spokesperson is saying. Let us take a look on what other people had to say. And so did they, not everyone disregards the law, but here you are bragging about something which should be actually an embarrassment. Okay. You think it's Musk who is going to lose? State power, my foot. Your own ZBC was using Starlink, dude. Minister Monica Muchangwa's son is a local Starlink agent. What say you? Okay. So let us try to take a look and understand this whole thing which is happening at this moment in time about Starlink. So try by all means possible to open and see if there is something we can rely upon so as to understand what is really happening with Starlink. So I'm trying to find the trending link for Starlink so that we deal with this issue once and for all, but I cannot find it. So let me just type Starlink so that we understand kuti zviri kumbofamba sei zvinhu zvacho and understand kuti yavharwa nguva ye vanadzo vari kukonfirma here kuti yavharwa. So I will go and take a look on Joseph Kalimbwe later, but let us deal with this one. Zenzele says Starlink users in Zimbabwe are receiving this email from Starlink. So I have not seen any Starlink user at this moment in time who has received this email, but the email reads that you are currently using Starlink in an unauthorized territory. As a result, Starlink has been directed by the Postal and Telecommunications Regulatory Authority of Zimbabwe, POTRAZ, to disable your service. We will continue to work with POTRAZ to obtain the necessary regulatory approvals to turn on Starlink services in Zimbabwe as soon as possible. We encourage you to contact POTRAZ at the regulator at potras.gov.zw, and they've provided the number to communicate your support for Starlink to obtain the necessary regulatory approvals in Zimbabwe. As described in your terms of service, Starlink does not guarantee when or where its mobile and mobile priority services plans will be available. Use of such services is dependent on many factors, including obtaining or maintaining the necessary regulatory approvals, which are subject to change. So it's very important in Zimbabwe to note that this is what is happening. We've seen so many reports. Why do we smell Econet Zimbabwe in this Starlink debacle? Okay. POTRAZ is directed Starlink to switch off all services in Zimbabwe. These are the reports trending at this moment in time. It's about all news platforms or all news networks. They're actually reporting about this issue of Starlink. Okay. Could POTRAZ and Zimbabwe be worried about how they will get VAT surcharge taxes from Starlink? Then an element of the comrades wanting drink money for the license. Let's say collecting taxes and levies from Starlink is complicated. Do you think having an alternative internet is good for consumers, including ISPs? Then also potential for remote working opportunities, including perhaps some digital nomads coming to work from Zimbabwe. Okay, so Zuganzi probably more spooked by the fact that they may not have an internet kill switch in the event of widespread protests, particularly should the Zig fail again. And I wouldn't be surprised that although slightly unrelated, events in Brazil and beef with Musk may be contributing. Okay, so this is what they've said. This is what is happening. But let us hear from Joseph Kalimbwe, who is probably one of the distributors of Starlink kits across the Zambezi. So we need to hear what he had to say as well, because it's very important for us to get sense of what is really happening. So I have not heard from anybody who is using Starlink. I have not seen any comment from somebody using Starlink coming onto this platform to share his own thoughts or to share what is happening. So Joseph Kalimwe says Starlink has not discontinued services in any SADC country. It never communicates to anyone on email for technical issues. The screenshot going around is fake and manufactured. Elon Musk will never listen to political clowns who want to cut free speech and access to internet. So there is probably something very important to note in all this. We do not know who is telling the truth because personally I don't have it. So I will not know if really something like that was sent or was communicated. But we are taking a look on the reports in Zimbabwe. The news channels, everybody is talking about Starlink being discontinued. And Joseph Kalimwe, the one who is in Zambia, one of the facilitators from Zambia, is actually saying that this is not true. The major question I have, so that we can have a conclusion, is that number one, when these kids were bought, they were registered in whose name and in which country? Because I understand that these kids were bought within Zambia or Mozambique or any other country which supports Starlink, and they were put on roaming. And when somebody buys these kids, do they have Zimbabwe as the permanent residence of these kids? I doubt. There is an element of roaming which is key in all this argument. What does Starlink policy say on roaming? So are there regions which are not authorized to use your kit on roaming? Because as long as you have a passport, as long as you have a permission to buy the kit from a country which supports the service, it doesn't make sense for POTRAZ to then instruct somebody who is connected through Zambia to be to have his service discontinued. It doesn't make sense to me. If Starlink complies in such a way, then to me the issue of roaming doesn't make sense. It means your roaming can be discontinued if you are to use it. So one of the most important issues is that Russia, there have been reports and concerns by the American senators, lawmakers about Russia using Starlink kits. We have not heard Starlink discontinuing service in territories occupied by Russia. We have not seen Starlink being shut down. Why is it that it is being shut down in Zimbabwe? And what's the fuss? In my own view, I believe that the reason why they had to share the email and phone number of POTRAZ is to make the people who are using Starlink at this moment in time in Zimbabwe to panic. Once they panic, they will try to conduct POTRAZ in their numbers. And when you conduct POTRAZ, it's either you are calling via your cell phone, you are going to provide your details about that, or secondly, you are emailing POTRAZ on the provided emails. And once you do that, they now have knowledge or intelligence on who and who is using Starlink. The challenge with Starlink is that a lot of people are hiding Starlink in most difficult ways. So you end up failing to know who is who. and who is actually using Starlink and where. And that is very, 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 very important to note. Which means if what Kalimbwe is saying is true, it means that was a way of trying to know who and who is using Starlink. They will have to communicate with the authorities themselves, and they will be investigated, and they will be arrested for illegal use of Starlink. This is my own thinking. So we do not know who is telling the truth. Is it Joseph Kalimbwe, or is it the government of Zimbabwe who is telling the truth? We have not seen a statement from POTRAZ cementing this. So there are questions which are being asked right here. By the way, our chief Charumbira is still the president. You failed this, Maloke. They are emailing subscribers, but they haven't turned their services off. This is Denzel. Is any subscriber confirming this? This one thinks he suddenly knows Elon and their buddies just because he is unemployed as a runner boy. You are soon about to face the embarrassment of your life and learn that Elon is no one's loyal friend. Okay. So okay, this is something which is being tagged right here. This is something else. All right. And it's not political, it's regulatory procedures. You are willingly discrediting yourself. Okay. You are a disgraced Starlink salesperson. Okay. All right. So, guys, we do not know who is telling the truth. There's a lot of insults right here. And we need to actually understand what is really happening. I hope and believe that the government of Zimbabwe is going to reconsider and license Starlink. But I still can't understand how they can actually force Starlink to shut the services which are being provided in Zimbabwe, because they were not registered in Zimbabwe. They were registered elsewhere without the addresses of Zimbabwe. And they are operating under the authority of another country. So how is it that they are discontinuing services on that basis? That will get a genuine answer onto all of this issue, so that we get to understand what is really going. That is very, very important. So let me try to take a look on POTRAZ itself and see what POTRAZ shared by POTRAZ about it. So I hope and believe that POTRAZ will have to talk, or we have to say something about this whole issue. So let us see. But POTRAZ sometimes they don't even communicate. So what I can see right now is my posts kagumisira post on 4 April. These are the recent posts I'm seeing on POTRAZ at this moment in time. I can't see anything as of 5th April, 12th April. I cannot see anything from POTRAZ X handle, which means there is nothing to confirm from POTRAZ. And it's their word against Joseph Kalimbwe's word. So we will try to see if there are people using Starlink who have to come forward and confirm. Because right now, notices were given, but my terminals are terminated, which means we still have to wait and see when they're going to terminate these terminals. So it is what it is. We'll continue to watch and see how they're going to deal about this matter.